1909 games. Let's make games.
Hey, welcome to part 6 of my DevLog series. Finally, I started working on the main enemy of the game. I redesigned it and have redone, well, everything. The 3D model, the material, the animation, and so on. But that was not all. Also, I started working on the next level. As you can see, it has kind of a industrial look. I needed to make a few new 3D environment models in Blender, made the materials and so on. And I have a simple moving box, I would guess. And even it is not the most interesting thing in the world, it makes the level more interesting and let it feel, more alive. As you can see, I added some green lights in the scene to make it feel more unhealthy. But I'm not sure if it is too much. So please tell me in the comments what do you think about that light. That would help me a lot. And you know what else is pretty helpful? Subscribing to the channel. But let's go on. The level will start in the same room the last level ended in. And that's something I want to keep within the whole game. And the contrasts of the room are pretty much like I wanted them to be. So the safe room, that is warm, almost comfortable. And the rest of the level is cold and way darker. It just feels less cozy. I mean, the safe room is not that cozy to be honest, but in comparison to the other rooms, it is. But back to the enemy. I wrote a really basic script for the behavior, but I need to redo it completely since it is, well, bad. I want the enemy to have a few waypoints it is patrolling through. When it reaches a point, it will wait, look around, and go on. If the player is in range, it should chase the player. If the player is close enough, it should attack the player. The player itself can not attack the enemy, because I want the player to feel kind of lost. If you would have a lot of weapons and a lot of enemies you have to shoot, it would be too much action and not so scary anymore. So your weapon is, running away. So the main mechanic will be hiding. I'm not sure how it will look in detail at the end, but that's okay. I will figure out. Something pretty important will be to figure out how hard the game will be. But I'm sure that it will be not too easy.
For the visuals of the enemy, I started with a pretty high poly 3D model I made in Blender. But after that, I made a retopology with way less faces. The original model was around 300,000 faces. I tried to use a tool to reduce the face count, but that worked out not as I wanted to. I was still around 56,000 faces, so I decided to take the time and make the retopology by hand. And that was good. Now I have less than 1,000 faces, and since the game has this pixelated look, it really doesn't matter. You would not even see the details of the high poly model. But I wanted to have at least some kind of details, so I baked the details of the high poly model in a normal map and put it on top of the low poly model. The details just come from the material. The most impact, I think, comes from the normal map. Like this, I have a low poly model with pretty much detail. After finishing that, I rigged the model and made the animations. The walk animation, the idle animation, the hit animation, the look around animation, and the turnaround animation. And at the end, I'm pretty happy with the result. What I'm missing now is a good behavior for the enemy, and almost the same important are sounds. I will work on that next week. That's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the devlog. Please hit subscribe and leave a like. Next devlog will be out in 2 weeks. See you next time. Bye!